Welcome to one of the biggest crossover events in Power Ranger and Kamen Rider fan fiction history, with almost 30 storylines crossing over. These storylines are written and read to you guys across multiple platforms and given to you by the Three Ranger Bros Studios, which is hosted by Mark the Red Cornish Ranger, Cosplay Dude 637, and myself, Ty Tiger. So prepare to dive into a storyline that not only crosses over all these stories, but hosts a threat that is willing to take down the entire multiverse as we know it. Let us begin. Rangers and Riders Unite. War for the Multiverse. Tie-in. Decoding the Cyber Realm. A portal opened in the Cyber Realm and out walked Violet, the princess of the Cyber Realm, and the Purple Cyberforce Ranger, Fred, the Gold Cyberforce Ranger, Xander from Universe 113, a member of the Future Foundation and the leader of the subdivision team, Future Generations, and the wielder of the Master Morpher, and Tony, also known as Kamen Rider Drive. The four appeared in a forest. The trees were all different colours. The sky was blue with shades of purple mixed in, and every now and then there was a flash of red lightning. "Whoa, this place is weird," Tony muttered. "No offence taken," Violet chuckled. A small part of her was glad to be home. She secretly missed the Cyber Realm. She didn't like leaving our family, her Ranger team, or Fred for that matter, but a part of her also yearned for the Cyber Realm. She took a deep breath in and let out a sigh as Fred placed his hand on her shoulder. "You okay, Vi?" Fred asked. "Yeah, sorry, just taking home in, you know," Violet replied. "Yeah, don't worry," Fred said with a small smile.
"So, we're going?"
Xander asked. "We're heading to the refugee camps. If there's anyone who can help us, it'll be there," Violet stated. They started walking through the orange grass, Tony taking in all the sights, bewildered by the realm made out of code. He picked up a leaf and examined it. He moved it through the sunlight, through the yellow leaf. There were faint hints of coding, digits shimmering through it. Tony chuckled to himself. They carried on walking and a flash of lightning erupted, illuminating the sky.
"Is the freak lightning normal around here?"
Xander asked. "No, it's not, but I am unsure if it's my uncle doing it or if it's something else," Violet replied, without breaking her gaze from her goal. They came to a clearing and entered the campsite. There were massive tents, a gigantic fire pit, and clothes hanging off branches, but there was no one around. "Hello!" Fred called out.
"Looks pretty empty."
Xander sighed. "There should be people here," Violet muttered in disbelief. Fred walked up to something floating above the ground. It looked like a piece of fabric. It was white with white code shimmering through it, and it was also translucent, almost see-through. It was only a couple inches long, and it was thin as paper. "Yo, what's this?" Fred asked, extending his finger out, poking it. "Hey, don't touch that!" Violet snapped. Violet dropped to her knees and examined it. "It's a soul code," Violet gasped. What now?" Tony asked, confused, as Xander and himself surrounded them. "You humans use the internet, make video games, servers, internet coding, whatever else you use code for. That is nowhere near the tip of the iceberg. The Cyber Realm is alive. It beats like a heart. It literally has a heart. Its power is so unique and strong and pure. I mean, hell, beings from the Cyber Realm are made out of coding. I'm made out of coding. I'm a human to a sense, but I don't have cells in the same way you three do. There is a soul code. It's what humans would call, well, a living heartbeat. A soul," Violet explained. "Okay, so another question is, why is it here?" Tony asked. "It means someone has died here," Violet said with a harsh tone. She stood up and dusted herself off. "Hey, I'm sorry, Vi," Fred sighed, wrapping his arms around her. She buried her head in his chest and he stroked her hair. She pulled herself away and wiped away a tear, when suddenly the ground shook for a moment. "We have to check on the heart now," Violet stated. "Is that even possible?" Fred asked her. "Only those of royal blood can get to it," Violet replied. Then Xander tapped Fred on the shoulder.
"Guessing they aren't part of the welcoming committee?"
Xander stated, pointing at a horde of skeleton warriors advancing toward them. "Stickers!" Fred called out. Everyone dropped their fighting stances. The Stickers engaged in a fight. They swung their swords and threw their bony fists. Violet ducked down, allowing a blade to swing overhead. She then stood up and punched the skeleton in the face. Then she wrapped her hand around the skull and placed her foot on its chest and pulled the skull off its body. Fred dodged and weaved between two sword attacks. Then he grabbed one Sticker by the wrist and kicked it. Then he turned to the other Sticker as it threw a foot out. He grabbed it by the foot and threw it up, flipping it over. Xander slammed his robot fist into the ribcage of a Sticker and lifted it up, swinging it around, using its legs to whack other Stickers away. Tony ran at a Sticker, grabbed it onto its neck with his arm. He lifted himself up and slammed his feet into another Sticker. As he came crashing onto the ground, he brought the original Sticker down with him, slamming it to the ground as well. The Stickers then faded away.
Those things are freaky.
Xander grunted as they all grouped up. Sticker patrols, Violet sighed. Alright, Vi, this is your round. What do you want to do? Fred asked. Violet took another deep breath in. Let's check on the heart. The lightning, the ground shaking, it's too unnatural. I'm concerned. Violet nodded. The three boys nodded at her. Then she started walking and the boys followed. Hey Vi, with the multiverse ending and everything, I'm quite surprised you haven't contacted your sister, Fred stated. They entered a deep forest that was darker than most. Violet sighed once again. My uncle may be a villain, but he cares about the cyber realm and my sister. He wouldn't let harm come to her. Violet sighed bluntly. They walked up to a massive tree. It was the thickest, tallest tree around, and it was covered in pure white leaves.
Okay, now that's kind of cool,
Xander muttered. Violet placed her hand on the tree and the bark under her hand started glowing. Then the bark shifted, retracting into itself, opening up, allowing the four of them to walk through it, like a doorway. They entered the massive, huge navy blue room. The floor and walls were lined with traversing code. In the center was a massive white bulb. It looked like a plant bulb with data coding rippling through it, but it was just gigantic. It was surrounded by tubes of energy shielding it, and there were outside of the shield was three Fadenizers. One of them had its arms inside the shield, trying to rip it open or break it. The other two were guarding it. They break that shield, the cyber realm will cease to exist, Violet gasped.
Then let's make sure that doesn't happen,
Xander roared. Both Fred and Violet both waved their hands over their morphers. Scan DNA! They both called out. Then they both slammed their hands on their morphers. Cybercharge! They both called out. In a flash of light, they both morphed into the gold and purple Cyberforce Rangers. They stood ready. Tony triggered his rider belt and the shift brace. He slotted the hot rod into the slot on the brace, and then he revved the lever. Henshin! He called out, and the red circle appeared and engulfed him, and then it vanished, and Comrade Drive stood ready. Xander held out his Master Morpher.
Dragonzord!
Xander called out, and in a flash of green, the Green Mighty Morphin Power Rangers stood ready. The four heroes ran at the two Fadenizers. The Gold Ranger and Comrade Drive took on one of them, whilst the Green and Purple Ranger took on the other. The Purple Ranger hit the Fadenizer head-on with a jump kick, whilst the Green Ranger got behind it and slashed it with his Dragon Dagger. The Fadenizer head-butted the Purple Ranger, then threw a kick back, kicking the Green Ranger. The Purple Ranger dove forward, but the Fadenizer grabbed onto her and started draining her powers. The Green Ranger jumped up and slammed both his feet into the Fadenizer, knocking it onto the ground, relinquishing its clutch on the Purple Ranger. Thanks, the Purple Ranger grunted. Comrade Drive punched the Fadenizer a few times before the Fadenizer swung its hand, backhanding the Kamen Rider, sending him flying back. He crashed onto the ground. He stood up quick and removed the hot rod from the shift brace. He then pulled out another hot rod, twisted it, and slotted it into the shift brace. He revved the lever, and the tire on his chest removed itself and phased away, and a new tire appeared. It was purple and looked like a shuriken. It slotted itself on his chest, replacing the base tire.
Taya Kokan! Midnight Shadow!
With his next form, he summoned a big purple shuriken and threw it at the Fadenizer. It dived forward, slipping between both the shurikens, and it jumped and flipped over Drive, landing behind him. It kicked Drive in the back, making him stagger forward. The Gold Ranger jumped over Drive, kicking the Fadenizer away. Then they exchanged blows. Simultaneously, the Fadenizer summoned his Rainbow Quasar Saber, and the Gold Cyberforce Ranger hit the weapon icon on his morpher and summoned his cyber scimitars. The gold Cyberforce Ranger and the Fadenizer entered a dance, blade against blade. The sound of metal clashing metal echoed throughout. The Fadenizer was trying to break down the barrier, managed to force both hands in. Then it pulled the barrier from each other, enough that it was now able to strain it to a point where it deactivated. The Fadenizer then placed its hand on the bulb, the heart of the cyber realm, and started to absorb it, the data coding rippling through the Fadenizer's hand. The Purple Ranger clocked the events occurring. She tried to run to stop it, but the Fadenizer in front of her slashed her with its sword, knocking her to the ground. The Green Mighty Morphin Ranger dived at the Fadenizer and kicked out, but the Fadenizer countered with its own kick, knocking him to the ground. The Fadenizer absorbed the bulb, the entire Cyberforce realm's life force now coursing through its body. Suddenly, the room they were in faded away, leaving them once again in the forest. The Cyber realm started shaking. The trees and animals started glitching like they were turning through a static television. The purple Cyberforce Ranger's suit glitched away, leaving Violet powerless. The Gold Ranger swung his sword, catching the Fadenizer across the chest. Then the Fadenizer jabbed its sword into the Gold Ranger. The Gold Ranger spun his sword, ready to deflect the attack, when suddenly his suit and sword glitched out of existence. The Fadenizer's sword stabbed right through Fred's stomach, and the Fadenizer grabbed onto Fred's face. As he dropped to his knees, blood spilled out of his mouth. Pain filled Fred, but he had no fight in him. He looked over to Violet, who stood there staring at him. Shock, pain, and horror drenched her face. She was powerless and afraid. Fred's life force was being drained from him, leaving nothing but a skeleton. "Fred! No! Fred!" Violet screamed, her voice breaking, tears running down her cheek. The cyber realm started cracking. The sky glitched out of existence. The three Fadenizers opened a portal and walked through it. Violet ran over to Fred's skeleton. Her cries roared out as the cyber realm fell apart around her. After a couple minutes of trying to move Violet away from Fred's skeleton, the realm finally vanished, leaving them standing in complete darkness. Suddenly a portal opened and Mikhail walked out of it. "Come on, move now!" Mikhail ordered. Comrade Drive and the Green Ranger grabbed Violet and dragged her from the skeleton left in the darkness that was once the cyber realm. The portal closed, and the cyber realm was no more.
What you have just listened to is a product created by the Three Ranger Bros Studio.
Hosted by three cosplaying fathers who
happen to be massive geeks of all sorts of fandoms.
They are Mark, the Red Cornish Ranger,
Cosplay Dude 637,
and Ty Tiger.
The studio covers different types of YouTube videos, TikToks, podcasts, and live streams.
If you wish to find out who cosplays who, the YouTube channel, the TikTok accounts, and the podcasts, and all of the other social media platforms,
please go to the 3rangerbrostudios.com.